Let's start with Cowboys Family. Here's the quote from my old friend Jerry Jones. I feel about Dak Prescott the same way I feel about Steven, my own son. There's no going forward without Steven or one of your family members. You got to figure it out. Now, he's talking about the contract, Dallas Cowboys owner Jerry Jones is, but he's also talking about family matters, saying that Dak Prescott is family. Sweet. Except that was a year ago. In fact, it was almost exactly a year ago at the scouting combine. Now, Jerry meant this as a positive, kind of a positive hint at where the Cowboys were going and planning on going, and they were a year ago. They thought they had deals twice in the last 2 years. Now they hope they have a deal coming up soon. And we've talked about the timetable here. By the way, I owe us a slight correction. I have said, speaking of hyperbolic, I have said the Cowboys couldn't tag Dak at this minute because, well, technically, the business year hasn't started, so you don't have to be under the cap at this moment. And so I'd stand corrected. You could theoretically tag Dak at this moment and then do Amari Cooper afterwards. It wouldn't make much sense, but you technically could. So I stand corrected. They won't. There's no need to hurry up and tag Dak Prescott. You got 2 weeks. All that would do would ruffle feathers. I see no sense to that. And you don't want to ruffle feathers because it's family. So Jerry was trying to be positive and maybe hyperbolic as well. He is both of those things a lot. And that idea, that comment about family was meant to be an assurance that we've got a long-term deal coming, and it was uttered a year ago. Mike Fisher reporting from Frisco, home of the Dallas Cowboys, where we are on Dak watch. And by the way, it's not just because, we're Dak obsessed or because I don't understand the concept of Dak fatigue, as we've called it around here. The reason that there's focus on Dak, a lot of reasons, but it's not just about the quarterback. It's about the trickle down. It's about the cap clog. It's about all the things you cannot do until you figure this one out. That's why it's important. We could sit here and talk about Amari Cooper for 10 minutes too, or 2 minutes, or 20 minutes, and we have and will. But the Amari Cooper idea, the Zach Martin idea, the Tyron Smith idea, the Jalen Smith idea, the Tank Lawrence, all of them, they are spokes on a wheel, and Dak Prescott's contract, not just Dak Prescott the quarterback, or Dak Prescott the talent, or Dak Prescott the headline grabber, Dak Prescott the contract is the hub of the Cowboys' wheel right now. That's why it's important. Not just because it's a headline grabber, although it certainly is. Listen, I'm no dummy. Is Dak Prescott really, quote, like family to Cowboys owner Jerry Jones? Yes. I understand how provocative and inviting that headline is. And then you come on in here and you find out, but in addition to being a provocative and inviting headline, we've also got the juice. There's the quote. Dak's like family to me, just like Steven. Jerry has his 3 grown children. He dotes on them. He relies on them. He loves them dearly. But to the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, football is family too. So every once in a while, Steven has to step aside, Charlotte has to step aside, and Junior has to step aside to make room for another sibling. Now, that's been the plan with Dak. This comment about family was uttered at the scouting combine in Indianapolis a year ago, aboard the bus. That's when he said the family thing. It's a sharp point. It's a colorful way to say it. If you understand the importance of family to Jerry, it resonates. And if you're trying to gauge the importance of Dak, Jerry wanted that to resonate too. For what figures to be, one way or the other, the largest contract in Cowboys history. It might end up being the richest quarterback contract ever. I don't think we'll get there, but even if it's $37.7 million under the tag, that's the richest one-year contract in Cowboys history by far. And if we end up at 5 years and 180 million or 175 million or 200 million or where, well, that'll be the richest Cowboy contract in history, obviously, as well. So Jerry's comparison to Dak, his love for Dak, and then comparing that to his love for his oldest son. Listen, I love football, and I love the people that I work with, and I love the people that work under me, and I love the people that work over me, but I don't love them the way I love Nate and Tony, and I would never say that. But Jerry's Jerry. Positive and hyperbolic. So that feeling now gets a chance to be revisited. As we've told you here, talks, if not negotiations, but talks have reopened now this week with the franchise tag looming again. And brothers, Steven and Dak, well, they might be brothers, but they're not brothers in arms because their arms aren't that long. They're sitting on opposite sides of the table at this moment. But family can still matter here. The concept of Cowboy players as Jones family members is not unfamiliar territory to you if you're a long-time Cowboys fan. He has heaped that sort of praise on players before. Not all of them, by the way. Now, it really is fair. 30 years ago, Jerry really did take a fatherly approach to his players, like all of them. And now, I would call that it's a grandfatherly approach. You know, he really does. He cares about the players. But every once in a while, a relationship or a talent or a personality comes along that's special. Troy Aikman got that treatment. That's why it saddens me so much to see that the Jones family and Troy aren't on the same page. Because I don't know. I mean, we all wish they were. Michael Irvin gets that treatment. And not just contractually, but emotionally. In a later generation, Jason Witten gets that treatment. Ask Jerry, just bring up Jason Witten to Jerry, and he'll tell you, Mr. Mack, he's one of the top 5 people, not players, people, that I've ever met in this NFL. He thinks Jason Witten's John Wayne. And Tony Romo, maybe more than anybody ever, gets the treatment. Now, you can argue, yeah, he sure did. He didn't have to wait for his contracts. Different time, different place, different a lot of things. I understand how that frustrates some. Different time, different place, different a lot of things. Hopefully Dak will get his, and hopefully it'll all work. But the relationship and trying to reach that same parallel, that same plane, the Aikman plane, the Irvin plane, the Witten plane, and then maybe especially the Romo plane. Tony Romo named one of his sons Jones. That's family. That's not just football. Let me know, by the way, if you want to name any of your sons or daughters Fish, and I will consider you family as well. And when he does have to part ways, the Romo parting was difficult. The DeMarcus Ware parting was difficult for Jerry. That was separating from a family member. The Dez Bryant thing was difficult for Jerry. They dragged it out and dragged it out because Mr. Jones just couldn't bring himself to do what the organization had decided had to be done. More on Dez Bryant, by the way, coming up in a coming video. Also, we're all over Luka today. We're all over Porzingis today. We've got Cowboys and the NFL draft stuff also today, so stick with us here. At the center of the negotiations with Dak Prescott's agent, Todd France, money and years and security and guarantees. Dallas thought it was close last summer and the summer before that too, but now we're looking at a $37.7 million tag and all the problems that come with it. There's solutions that come with it, and there's problems that come with it, the tag. And that tag now sits at the center of this family table. The negotiating table is the family table and vice versa. And the Cowboys are about to have to get as serious about a financial commitment as Jerry is about his emotional commitment. Thank you for being a part of what we do here. Stick with us. Much, much more to come over the course of the day. Fish out.